You're tuned into Recovery TV, the voice of hope, with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Discussions and information on addiction and mental health issues. Here's your host with today's guest.
Welcome to another edition of Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Narcan. Please get it. You can get it at Walgreens, you can get it at CVS, you can get it at URI. Wherever it is, please get it. Put it in your purse, put it in your car, take it out at night because the weather affects it, but it saves lives. My guest today is Christy Prevention, and she's the Executive Director down at Zinnia Health in Exeter. Welcome, Christy, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, John. Thanks for having me again.
So tell my viewers a little bit about Zinnia Health and what's going on down in Zinnia.
Loaded question, but love answering it. Zinnia is a comprehensive inpatient and outpatient treatment facility. We currently have 4 locations. We've added one since we've last spoke, and soon to come, God willing, have 5. So.
Wow.
Our main inpatient facility is in Exeter. That serves about 83 clients, detox and residential. And then we have an outpatient PHP with supportive housing, a Monday through Friday day program that operates during the day, and then we provide supportive housing that they can step down to from residential or other treatment facilities. So they have a place to stay and then focus on their recovery during the day, so that's not a barrier.
And that's so important today.
Yes,
So
yeah,
important.
we've had great success with that. That's been up and running for, almost 4 years now, and that is anywhere from 40 to 48 clients at all times. It's pretty full. Yeah, we only have a few beds to offer here and there throughout the week because we step down, and then we also take clients from other facilities like AdCare and ASU, CSU. They refer to us because that's the only supportive housing PHP in Rhode Island.
And that's such a big movement right now, is to get these people in recovery housing rather than sleeping in their car or sleeping in the street. That's it's really important that gets done. And I want to, obviously congratulate you and Zinnia for expanding in Rhode Island. It's very much needed. Yeah. How many total beds do you have?
Total beds currently we offer about 150, and we can change it out. Detox if there's a higher needed detox. As long as we have the nursing staff, 24/7 staff, we can fluctuate that number. We fluctuate residential beds based on the need. PHPs always, we have the housing set, so that can fluctuate here and there given the need, but we always try and meet that need. And that's what we did with our expansion in Pawtucket. It's going to be 16 to 20 beds for just men's residential. So no detox, but we're meeting that gap that the state needs for residential beds. So that'll be soon to come, hopefully summer, early fall, again, God willing. But that'll be perfect timing for the time of the year where we do need to get these certain Medicaid populations, state-supported, state contracts off the street and into treatment.
I think a lot of people don't know about Zinnia and what you actually do for the state as far as Medicaid patients. There's not a lot of folks in Rhode Island that take Medicaid patients, and those are the people that need help the most. The insurances, the homeless, a multitude of different things with them.
Yeah, it's true. We are 96% Medicaid and also state contracts. We work with BHDDH to provide those without Medicaid insurance. That's where the contract comes into play, so we don't have to say no. So I have contracts for alcohol detox, opioid detox, and now residential. And we do that strictly to make sure we keep our partnership hitting those goals for the state. That, again, I don't have anyone coming to my door that I have to say no. I can't imagine anything worse that somebody or a facility would have to do So I've made that my priority, whatever it takes. And then that way the demand is there.
Excuse me. The population too, men and women. Where do you see that now with Edcinia? How many men, how many women?
So that's...
And I know the women's is starting to escalate
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, every call to action we have weekly, I always stress that my women's beds are in demand. I have a wait list for women's beds. Right
Really?
now, I have probably about 60% of the facility is women and 40% men. In my previous expansion projects, we brought on 20 more beds for men. But now, opening the Pawtucket facility, I'm going to have to make some changes at Exeter so that I can expand those women beds. We have great partnerships with DCYF recently, so that encourages our women and our moms to really dive in and focus on their recovery, partnering with DCYF so we can get them back with their family. So the women population right now, there is a great need, and it sounds like the state in its entirety is really focusing on that. So that's great to hear.
You know, some of the numbers I have heard earlier, and the last show I taped, we were talking about how many children are living with their grandparents now. A big number, 15,000 kids.
Yep.
And I'm sure the bulk of them are DCYF kids. So it's great that, excuse me, that you're doing that to try to help, excuse me, the transition
Yep.
from moms to get back into taking care of their children.
Yes, yeah, that is also pregnant women, priority
Right.
population. We even have that with us. We see that clientele maybe a few a year, but again, we don't say no.
Right.
So some places they're not able to manage that sort of medical care. I can see why it's
Because that's
very
a
fragile.
whole new different care. Whole
Yeah,
new-
yeah,
Yeah.
and so that was also a barrier the state had. So it even starts with when they're pregnant and them focusing on the residential care detox. Very dangerous. We
Right.
support that, you know, in other facilities, but residential, yes. And then they see there that they have the opportunity. The longer they stay in recovery with us, the more they will stay united with their family. And then we have visitation with the grandparents, like you said. They'll come in,
Right.
or other family members that have the children, and they'll visit with us and the moms in our facilities, just to keep them inspired to
Right.
keep going and not so much isolated and detached.
Oh, yeah.
As a mother
forget
myself,
about it, you know?
I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine that feeling. And so it gives them an extra pep in their step to stay with us, stay on that track, and then before you know it, they're back with their family, and you might even escape going through the system altogether at that point. So that's the goal, and it's a major need too.
Yeah. What about the youngest person that you can take in? Is an adult into
Yeah,
your resident 18?
Yep, 18. And believe it or not, I do see, we have seen some as young as 19, 20 this past year, which that is a rarity, but also you're starting to see that if they're making it to our program, there might have been an opportunity that should have been there from there a little earlier.
Earlier, yeah.
So as much as it is hard to see, we also take that with great responsibility and provide for them just as much and make them comfortable in our facilities as the other population, which is generally late 30s, early 40s is the age range.
It's kind of unbelievable to me where you get, when we first started in this business, it was 18, 19-year-olds, and now it seems to be getting older and older and older.
Yeah, I hear that.
Do you have a
often,
feeling
too.
on why that is?
I can
Is it
only
because of
imagine.
stress?
Yeah, I can only imagine the economy and how things play out sometimes,
Yeah.
and the support really
Yeah.
is what's going to to keep us
I
away
want
from
to
that.
talk more about that when we come back because we have to go to break.
Sir.
You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. We'll be right back after these messages with Zinnia Health.
And now back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, Kodak. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Chrissy Pavetch is in the house, and she's with Zinnia Health, and she's the executive director. So, again, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for being a sponsor of the show. We greatly appreciate that. One of the only outfits in Rhode Island that take strictly Medicaid patients, and few dribbles here and there. But, you know, when I always pick up the phone to call you, you're always there to help. So thank you for what you do.
Absolutely.
A little bit about, you know, I want to go back to the mom issue. We've been getting reports from the hospitals about a lot of babies being born addicted.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of babies born with issues pertaining to substance use,
Mm-hmm.
other than addiction. When you get a mom in who hasn't delivered yet
Mm-hmm.
into your program, what do you concentrate on? You concentrate on the well-being of the individual. You concentrate on the well-being of the baby also. How does that work?
Yeah, so before we, it's always case by case. So
Yeah.
we always get as much detail through the screening process or through their referral source as we can. I work with the community and the other services that our peer support teams
Okay.
provide. A lot of the referrals come from them. Christy, this mom, she has, the soon-to-be mom, she has nowhere to go. There's either no beds available, other people are nervous to treat. Can you, like you said before, can you help me? So then I automatically go to my medical team, to my clinical team, and I go, hey, you guys, I have this case. Let's make it work. What do we need to do? So first we look at who she's already set up with for care providers outside, usually women and infants at that point they're already linked up with in some form or fashion thanks to the peer support. So we make sure that those scheduled visits stay on track. We don't interrupt them. That's not what we're there to do. We're there to focus solely on mom first and making her comfortable in the population that we provide for her and make her feel safe, one of us, one of the other clients, so she can really, maybe for the first time, think this is an option for me and my unborn baby. So we just offer her the longest clinical granted length of care we can, so she can be there through residential for up to the 30 plus days, and then also step down to PHP with supportive housing for another, say, 30 to 45 days too. And by that point, she already has that support system outside that has been working with her since she got to us, and we just all unite, put our powers together, keep them both safe, keep them both on the track that's comfortable and healthy for them, and we have success stories. And that's what it's all about, case by case. What does this mother need? What does her unborn child need? And then we just take it from the very best we can.
So I'm going to give you a scenario. You tell me what the plan is. So you have a mom come in. Unfortunately, she has the baby sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
But she still needs treatment. What happens to that baby? Does that baby stay at Women and Infants? Does that baby follow the mom into residential treatment? How does that work?
So from what a case that I've handled, my experience with this, because we did have that situation where she, from recovery, through our stay with us, she did go to Women and Infants, deliver, and then at that point, how it worked with her individual case, it was best that once the baby could, and she was ready to come back to treatment, the baby went to a family member.
Okay.
So the family member and her caseworkers who she was working with, that support and first work on her keeping her connection with the baby, and the other alternative wasn't a thing
Right.
at that point.
Right.
They're like, they let her know, like, ma'am, as long as you continue this journey, we're there to support you. We want you guys to be together, and we want that too.
Right.
So working with partners, communication with the mom, letting her know what we're really there for, and we bring the baby and the family members in for a visit. They have a separate area that they spend time together, and it's a beautiful thing to be a part of.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. How often do you get a case like that? Is it few and far between, or is it?
Yes,
Yeah.
few and far between. But like I said, if I get that call, I'll make it work with the partnership of others, and I won't say no unless there's a medical reason why we need to.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so many people don't realize that, you know, there'd be 4 or 5 agencies working on this one case. You know,
Exactly.
and
yeah.
and that is a big deal when you have 4 or 5 organizations trying to work for the same good of a client that needs help. You know, and I give you guys a lot of credit. You know, we're up to 46 agencies now that we represent, and more
Yeah.
coming on board. And the board just voted on getting single membership
Yes.
for individuals to come in to make sure the knowledge is passed down and passed up,
Right.
so we can give the people the best that we can give them moving forward, because it's not getting any better, as you well know. You know, you're full mostly all the time,
Yeah.
which is great that you
Yeah.
have beds that you can help people, but it wouldn't be great if we had continuous wait lists that people want to get in to get treatment and get help, and you have to say, well, you have to wait 5, 6, 7, 8 days.
No.
That is not a good scenario, because they're going to go back out and use again.
Right.
But I want to talk a little bit more about the plans of Zinnia moving forward when we come back from break. You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. We'll be right back with Zinnia Health after these messages.
And now back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, Kodak. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Christy Prevention's in the house, and she's with Zinnia Health. And Christy, thank you for joining us today. It's greatly to have you as a guest and also as a sponsor. Thank you so much.
Love being here. You're welcome.
So what are the plans for Zinnia moving forward? I know you got the houses here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
What else? What else you got?
We're everywhere where we need to be for the sake of meeting the needs of Rhode Island and filling in the gaps. I like to make sure there's no unnecessary programs running. And to your point earlier, it's wise if we can keep doing it and I can keep staffing it and we can keep saving lives, then we might as well meet the demand if there's a gap. So currently we are in construction at a building in Pawtucket. We are renovating that from head to toe, customizing it just the way we need to for residential treatment. So Pawtucket, going more into the city, outside of our suburban area in Exeter. We have our supportive houses in Cranston and then outpatient in North Kingstown, but this is going to be our first move more up north for Rhode Island. So I'm hoping we'll have a opening ceremony for the city there in, like I said, fall.
Great, that's
before
great.
the weather turns, for
Great.
sure. So
Well, I want to thank you for what you do and
yeah.
helping the people of Rhode Island. It's greatly needed and necessary. And love to have you back on when you start ribbon cutting. And don't forget the invite to me.
It's going to you first.
Love to
you know.
attend. And so again, thank you for joining us today. Following this program, it'll be Kodak Live, fully integrated approach to care. And next week, my guest is Mr. Joe Bennett, who unfortunately lost his son due to an overdose. Very interesting young man. But thank you for joining us. If you see something, say something. See you next week.